I'm Morgan Freeman, narrator of the upcoming IMAX documentary, Born to be Wild. Join me on the journey of a lifetime to meet orphaned orangutans and elephants. We will follow the paths of two extraordinary women who have dedicated their lives to rescuing, raising, and ultimately releasing these animals back to the wild.
How are you, Mr. Drew?
I'm fabulous. And
That's great. Congratulations on the film.
Thank you so much.
I enjoyed it. It's triumphant.
Oh, great.
Give me the genesis of the project.
The genesis of this project goes back a really long time. I was just backpacking through Southeast Asia about 17 years ago and quite randomly decided to visit Camp Leakey, Birute Galdikas' research station, and at the time it was where she was rehabilitating orphaned orangutans. So I got off a little boat in this sort of jungle river there and I found myself face to face with an orangutan, just me and her standing there on this jetty, and it was such an incredibly strange and profound experience that it was something that I knew that we could bring this intense experience to other people around the world, that if they could all see what it is like to really be in the presence of these animals, it could, change a lot of opinions about, how they're cared for.
Dame Daphne, yeah. How did that come about?
The origins of that were, we wanted to make a film that wasn't just about one species. We wanted to make a film that was more about our relationship with the natural world. And so we were looking for a companion part of the story, and I had seen the piece of Dame Daphne on 60 Minutes, and immediately it just made perfect sense. These are two stories that would fit so nicely together because they're both of epic proportions. They're both huge stories. And the other thing is both species, both orangutans and elephants, live very long lives. Orangutans can be 50 years old, elephants into their 70s. So they're really, there's really serious lives at stake in this film.
It took me 28 years of hard work before I finally developed a milk formula that would help them grow up big and strong.
The challenges making this film were enormous. There were, I'd say, two really big ones. On the one hand, there was the logistical challenges of working in the IMAX format in the jungle. It's incredibly complicated. Just getting everything there and hand carrying every little piece of equipment deep into the jungle was a tremendous amount of effort. But I'd say perhaps more interesting is the challenge of working with all these animals. Because there's no trained animals in the film. All the animals portrayed are the animals that are actually going through the actual experience. And it's a challenge of how do we had to work with them. And we had to find a way to tell their stories and film their experiences in a way that they were comfortable with, that wouldn't interfere with what they were going through. And then that's, it's a different kind of challenge because it's not a challenge that you can't buy your way out of that. You can't plan your way out of it. It just has to come from you internally. You have to develop a rapport with the animals and the people who take care of them. And you have to deeply understand what they're going through, and you have to be really sensitive to that. And hopefully they'll understand, and the animals will invite you into their space and welcome you there, and fortunately, that's what happened.
But as our world expands into theirs, more and more wild animals lose their families, and their very existence on Earth is in danger.
For regular people like me who want to help, what can we do?
For anyone who sees this movie and wants to help, I think the best thing to do, if you're interested in helping orphaned orangutans or orphaned elephants, is to support the people who are really doing this work on the ground there. And one really fun way to do that is to adopt an orangutan or adopt an elephant. And both the websites of these organizations and the IMAX website has all this information. And it's not very much. It's either 50 or $100, and you can really foster one of these animals, and you get all the information about them, and it's really a great way to stay in touch with what's happening in that animal's life, and people really love doing it.
Right. And I'll sing to them. I love that scene, the lullaby. Yeah. Thank you so much.
In a spectacular IMAX 3D adventure about second chances like you've never seen before. Born to be Wild in IMAX 3D.